Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Beacon TVL show, your weekly source for really great takes and all of that stuff that I don't remember anymore because I can't figure out where I put my script. Anyway, I'm your host, Chris, the DeFi Professor, and we've got a great show lined up for you today, giving you the takes and analysis you need from this week's news in on-chain finance for all of you, our dear users. Got a great show lined up for you. Let me bring on our panelist for this week. We've got a banger back on, guys. Got one of our favorite people in this space. Pardon me. Nebraska president of Stand with Crypto, Logan Fulcher. How are you, sir? Welcome back to the show.
It is wonderful to be here with you, Chris. Thanks again for having me on. And
Yes, sir.
forgive my lighting. I'm still working on a new setup.
You know what? I am consistently always working on a new setup, so don't even apologize for that. Just happy to have you here. We have a lot of stuff to talk about
It's
today.
good to be here. We really do.
We really do. Here here now we're here in Nebraska. It's getting warm. It was. I've been out. I've been out and about. Now it's like April. We're gonna be coming into May. I mean, Major League Baseball is starting again. I mean, it's just that magical time of the year where it starts to warm back up, and yeah, I'm really excited for the next. And you're going to Bitcoin Vegas in less than 10 days. So
Yes.
tell me about how excited you are about April right now.
Oh, so excited. You go outside and you can smell the flowers on the air. Like I'm going on long walks, enjoying the nice afternoons, and spending a lot of time thinking about crypto and blockchain because it is spinning. Along with some of the tornadoes that are happening out east of here, we've got our own little twisters that are happening in the space, and oh my gosh, I've got to get my head ready for Bitcoin Vegas because I've got to talk about quantum blockchain. I've got to talk about the Clarity Act, which is so unclear. And then I've got to get more people to sign up with Stand with Crypto and let them know that Nebraska's on the map.
That is true. And today also, for a lot of people who may not realize, today is April 15th, which in the United States means that today is tax day. Now, I'm going to bring up our partners at Awaken. Very awesome group. Shout out to Andrew and the team at Awaken. They've got a special little thing here, $99 off if you switch to Awaken. And if you might be able to do this if you use our code Beacon DeFi, BeaconDefi, you might be able to get an extra 25% off your tax report. So again, this is not doing you're not doing your taxes alone here if you're going with Awaken. It's crypto tax software built by crypto people, specifically DeFi people. That was the one thing that I got out of talking to Andrew, is that he was a big guy on Solana, and he just didn't love the options that were out there. And frankly, we didn't either, and that's why we've been recommending Awaken to our communities for the last 3 years. They're now in the UK, they're in Australia, they're in a couple different countries, as you can see here, Canada as well, if you check out. So
I would have killed to have something like this when I was in Japan playing with all my crypto stuff and needing to go through individual line items. And I mean, it did force me to learn blockchain, but man, it would have been nice if I didn't have to learn it that way.
I will tell you that Awaken is low-key the best portfolio manager I can think of in crypto. Why? Because if you're going to
That's pretty cool.
if you're going to do the right thing and you're going to pay for your taxes, which you should be doing, by the way, you have to put in your wallets into Awaken so it can actually gather all of that. It's the best way to keep track of everything because it is across all ecosystems. Whereas certain other tools only do EVM, only do Solana, only do X and Y. So that's why we like Awaken. Anyway, today's tax day. You have till midnight, I believe, to get that in there. So just wanted to kind of put that out there. If you're looking for something, feel free to check out awaken.tax, and you can use our code Beacon DeFi to get an extra 25% off. Plus, and I think I don't know if they're inclusive. Last time I checked, they were, But you do pay per transaction, by the way. So if you have less than 1,000 transactions to create your 8949 report to put in with your taxes, very easy to do so. It links with all of the major CEXs, or you can always just download from them a CSV file and upload them into Awaken. And you can do this with everything, whether it's Coinly or some of the others that are out there. Just make sure that you're doing it, and you can. It's pretty quick, and you can go in regularly, and it'll sync up your wallets, and then you can just have an idea for what you're looking for. So, if you're looking for a great tool to use, Awaken.tax, and thanks to Andrew and the crew for always being such a huge supporter of Beacon DeFi. Always. So.
Handy tool.
Yes, let's talk about the markets. Looking at what we have here today. Big news on the the war in Iran being over and the Strait of Hormuz being open again.
Is it?
I don't know.
Every day I feel like we're opening the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, that seems to be the case, right? That seems to be. It was closed. It was blockaded. Ships are going through anyway.
And now we're blockading it, but then they're blockading it, and now we're both blockading it, but nobody's actually blockading it.
Yeah, I mean. But don't forget, the strait is, yesterday the strait was closed, but the U.S. is open, and all kinds of empty tankers are making their way all the way over to the United States to buy U.S.-produced oil, whether that comes from the United States, our Gulf of America stations, or Venezuela, which we are in full control of, thanks to President Trump. The market has continued, Logan, to crab, which is what we've been talking about for months now. That this was probably going to be a good sideways market to play into for Delta Neutral, for liquidity provision through LPs, through perps, through concentrated liquidity, and the script is playing out pretty well. Reclaiming 74 is interesting because I do think, depending on where we go in the next 60 days, it could be an interesting rise and fall, right? There's other things that are going to happen. We're getting close to the real bit. I mean, my mailbox is full of midterm shit now. So we're going to see a lot of market movement. There's going to be some capitulation. There's going to be some rallies. I mean, over the next 3 months as we start to move in there. One thing I did want to also mention is that Chairman Powell's term as Fed chair ends on May 15th. Kevin Warsh is the replacement brought in by President Trump. He's a hawkish guy, so I'm curious to see exactly how this is all going to play out. So we'll see. But Chairman Powell is going to be a governor for Fed for another 2 years after his term ends. So he's not going anywhere. And I saw yesterday that President Trump is considered firing Chairman Powell if he doesn't resign or something like that.
Does he even have that authority?
He does not.
Unless I don't think that's something the president can. Well, maybe in this America, but
he has to. The only way he has is if Chairman Powell has a for-cause reason to be fired. And
I'm sure we can find
frankly, you can't use policy disagreement, even though he is technically Trump's guy, because President Trump wanted in his first term someone to be a data-driven Fed chair. He got that, and here we are. To be fair, core CPI fell to 3.8, down from the expectation of 4.1. So I'm sure that will be lots of calls for rate cuts, and we'll see exactly.
Taking a step back, though, Chris.
Yes, sir.
You were clicking through those charts, and yet we're crabbing. But there's one thing that hasn't been crabbing, and I've been keeping my eye on it. If you can go back to the main, what are we on? CoinMarketCap screen. What's the fear and greed index looking like?
Yeah, that's a great question. It is now at 53.
Okay.
We're seeing a lot of interesting. Fear and greed is one of those interesting charts that
it's fundamental analysis more than technical analysis.
Yeah, let's put it that way.
It's some people will frown on it, but it's I like sentiment readings. And
Yes.
especially when things are going sideways like this and it's hard to get any actual, meaningful metrics out. It is important to pay attention to the sea change in people's attitudes. And I think that some shifting attitudes right now in America. Like we're getting, and not just here in the U.S., but globally as well. So it's interesting to pay attention to people's moods. You can go look at the traditional chart that we've all been seeing for the past decade of the market cycles where you're in euphoria and then you're angry and then there's
Hmm.
hope and where are we in that? And I like to think about that large psychological cycle, the sociological mood cycle that's involved with some of the trading. So we were at a 7 on fear and greed. I think last week. That's about
Yeah.
as low as we can go. And it does. I'm not sure what it says, but I know it's screaming something.
And what's interesting is we've had an interesting decoupling between crypto and a lot of TradFi as well, right? But different, I think different movements of risk and de-risking have been happening. Institutional flows back into crypto, not away
Hmm.
from TradFi, but just more of this integration of bringing more of TradFi into blockchain-based flows, whether through, Ethereum mainnet, through Solana, through Canton Network, different L1s that are out there. We're starting to see more of this integration. Uh, More people are being very comfortable with not just the messaging, but also the advertising when it comes to what's going on with how people are accepting of crypto. To me, the biggest news of the week, and let me grab it here. Where are you? Goldman, off of Morgan Stanley last week, has filed for a Bitcoin ETF. I'm not saying that's throwing this market back upwards, but the fact that Morgan's on board now, Morgan Stanley's on board, Goldman is now on board, with a Bitcoin ETF. Granted, they're 18 months late compared to everybody else. We're seeing more momentum, more people build to a lot more of this reality that now. I mean, this is the truth. More and more of these companies are going to be essentially recommending Bitcoin and ETH into their private clients' portfolios. Most of them up to the 4 to 8% mark at this point, but it's starting to snowball, right, Logan?
That has increased from the 2 to 3% mark from a couple years ago that was recommended by some,
Or not
investment.
recommended at all.
But right. I mean, even the forward-thinking ones, it was still very, very, toe in the water.
Right. Absolutely. One thing I did want to point out: if you go to CoinMarketCap, and I am just for transparency, I am an approved CoinMarketCap creator. Feel free to follow me there at the DeFi Professor. You'll see this on here, and I'm just bringing this up for awareness. They're working with Easy, which is CZ's big VC thing for Genius Terminal. So you can get an airdrop here if you're looking for one by just using the Genius Terminal here. I personally haven't used it. I'm not going to vouch for it, but I'm just going to talk about it because you may see it and you're like wondering, what is this about? Overall, they're 4 days away from the actual airdrop. So I don't know exactly what you're going to get here, but for those who have been using it or are looking for something, feel free to check that out, because if we go back here, I mean, it's right here in the lower right to secure
Wait,
your
what?
Genius airdrop. So
What is it? It's so. I mean, I'm always for an airdrop, and so you've got my attention. I mean, who doesn't love free money?
exactly. So you have to create a Genius account, and then the airdrop itself. So if we just go in here, let me click on airdrop here. It's a 21% community airdrop based off the tokenomics of the entire project, right? So there's really two questions you have to ask yourself. A, do I need to use Genius? And B, Why do they have a token? What is in it for me? The majority of these people who are going to get the airdrop are going to sell it, right? There's some that are going to possibly let it ride because, let's be honest, CZ-backed ventures, if you look at Aster and some of these others, Giggle Academy and stuff like that, have a tendency to just kind of go a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for a couple of weeks before settling in on some final price. Could that final price be above the listing price of this token? Absolutely. It's up to you if you want to get into this. Obviously not financial advice. Do your own research. Logan and I are just people here looking at a screen. But yeah, if you're curious about it, tradegenius.com/airdrop or you can just go to the front page of CoinMarketCap. It's right there in the corner. And they've been plastering it for the last day or so. So I thought I'd talk about it today for anybody who may see that and wonder what's that about. So airdrops, great way for you to, use some extra time to use some of your capital to get in on some prearranged marketing funds that were set aside for you. Is it free money? Yes. Is it always worth it? Kind of depends, right? Because you do have to do some work for it. In general, not normally a bad way to go about it, but remember, airdrops count as income. So thanks, President Biden, for that. So just kind of keep that in mind. So it's up to you. Gone are the days of 5-figure airdrops, frankly, from groups like Arbitrum and Jupiter and Wormhole and groups like those. But Genius could be something interesting if you are playing on that. Plus, they may have additional seasons of points. So if you're just looking for a system to get into, that may be one you may want to consider. So there's that. Looking at bubbles. So Rave is going to be here because Rave DAO decided to do, I guess, a little bit of a pivot, and some people were buying. In fact, I think
some people were upset.
Yeah,
like,
some people were upset.
Why wasn't I in on that? I saw a bunch of XRP people were mad about it.
And people were taking out shorts and getting auto deleveraged. And I'm just like, the game's changed, guys. You don't necessarily want to play this game as much as loose as you want to. But yeah, it's up a ridiculous amount based off of how they decided to pivot and talk about their token. It's always interesting when people just tag on the word short off of something. I mean, this is just something that just kind of happens. Is it a trade worth going after? That's up to you to decide. I'm not going to advocate one way or another. The other one, if you look here, that's big is VVV. Where did it go? Yeah, 28% on Venice, which is a privatized AI. Shout out to Eric Voorhees and team there. It's up quite a bit.
Venice AI has its own token?
Yeah, VVV.
I didn't know that. Yeah, it's an interest. I was going to them for uncensored AI stuff.
That's the exact reason to go. Sandboxed, uncensored AI. Many people, several people in our group got 4-figure airdrops off of Venice just for being a pro, like $9 subscriber for like 3 to 4 months. It was kind of crazy how it just kind of played out that way. Here's the thing: Venice isn't going away, and they're doing burns. That's probably the one thing that people are pretty excited about, because they're doing burns, being very aggressive about supply control. They also have something called Diem, D-I-E-M, which is staked VVV that you can mint, and that actually is, Diem is gigantic now.
Diem, wasn't that the name of the Facebook token that was supposed to come out back?
It is, but it's now, it is. Look at that. Look at that. Oof. Yeah, we talked about this. We talked about this a couple of months ago. Yeah, we talked this about a couple of months ago in our mastermind community, in some of our content. I didn't advocate for anyone to get DM, but it was a pretty interesting idea to take some of your VVV and get some DM. So anybody in our community who listened to me, you're welcome.
628%.
That's always nice, huh?
That's not a bad number to look at.
Yeah, not bad at all. For looking for some more targets, just wanted to bring up this post from Grayscale. This is their assets under consideration. And granted, I'm not here to sell you on any of these. But frankly, I can't think of a bad coin on this list because they're all going to be doing their own things, especially in this year of integration, to move and do some really interesting things. The only one that I have concerns on here is going to be Mega from Mega ETH, because yes, they have TG they have done TGE, but they're not going to actually introduce any incentives until they hit specific KPIs. You're going to be waiting a while, guys, before that happens
Yeah, the
because
market's not exactly in party mode yet, so
yeah,
might be.
so Mega ETH and Kato are probably the two that I have the biggest kind of worries about. Same with Wormhole. Outside of that, these are all great. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Logan.
No, you're good. I'm just throwing in a little bit of a salt and pepper commentary.
Go ahead. What are your thoughts on this list? I mean, honestly, there's a whole bunch here that are at least 85% of this are valid DCAs right now, given the market patterns.
I am literally in a couple conversations with a few of the teams on this list.
Mm-hmm.
I am. You know what? Really, the one that's jumping out at me. I'm not a huge Tron fanboy. I've never owned any Tron for more than a few months. I sure dabbled in it because I bought everything at one point. But recently, Justin Sun came out with some pretty big claims about making like a quantum-proof Tron.
Oh, it's so funny! We just walked me into this segue.
Oh, how about that? That's pretty good. It should be making some news here. Yeah, he made a bit of a splash.
Yes, he's saying that that quantum preparedness and security shouldn't be a debate; it should be a feature. So they are officially launching their post-quantum upgrade initiative to be the first, meaning the earliest group to deploy NIST standardized PQ crypto signatures on Tron mainnet.
Like my tweet right under that, please.
Oh, that's you. Look at that. That is you. Let me help you out there.
The 2.9 thousand people.
There we go.
No one had the heart to give me a heart. I can't believe it.
Like an RT on that, sir, for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
Caring is liking.
Caring is liking. Yeah, I mean, Tron is still a top 5 EVM blockchain, guys. There is nothing abnormal about Tron, and let me walk that back.
Yeah.
The majority of TVL of USDT is on Tron, and it's because of that man, not you, Justin Sun.
Right.
So there's like 40 billion in TVL of Tron, TVL for USDT on Tron. So I'm hoping. I mean, Tron's fast. It's cheap. It's never been the most liked of chains to bridge to and use. But
Justin is the used car salesman king of crypto.
Well, he is. Do we talk about what he said about World Liberty?
Oh, wait. Yeah, hold on. Let me walk some of that back. I've been in crypto a while, and for a long time, he, like, in my mind, as someone in the industry, he was just like the quintessential snake oil salesperson.
Correct.
And it's not that I didn't like using Tron. It seemed just fine. And all the PR stunts, it always feels like it's a cover-up for something else, and I'm just wondering what I'm missing. And I guess that has kind of kept me away from it.
No, I agree. So here's the thing. If you're a US user, you don't know anything about Tron. And I think that's by design. Tron is definitely a blockchain that's used for non-US Asian users mainly, or people that use Eastern Europe. Tron's very big. All of that is out there, very big. Nothing wrong with the blockchain. It doesn't have a ton of DeFi protocols. That's half the problem. I mean, right now, outside of just holding a metric shit ton of USDT, they also have Sun Pump, and they're trying to play in that meme coin game. But once, if he's able to get the the quantum stuff going, and he gets actual big name market makers or lending AMMs to come over and start setting up shop on Tron, start bringing more retail in, I think that's a good sign. But currently, that's just not been the playbook for them, at least in a way that gets a lot of traction with people here in the U.S. Tron is now a U.S. company, by the way.
See what's working and copy it.
Yes, exactly. But Tron is a U.S. company. They reverse merged into SBE Holdings, I think 18 months ago. It's literally a company that makes swag for movies and TV, and is now Tron Inc. And they share office space with them in an office park in Orlando, Florida.
I had no idea.
Yeah, we covered it actually.
I mean, the collision of blockchain with all the other industries, it won't be long before we stop talking about it as like blockchain industry.
Yeah.
It's going to be just finance or like it, but more than that, it's, I don't know, like, but it's really colliding.
It is.
It's not just in like even in these little microwaves.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fascinating. It's like Tron is combining with clothing, and it's just fascinating. I did not see that coming.
Well, it's an easy way for them to get into the U.S., right? Because
Sure.
what a lot of people may not realize, and then let's bring up the tweet. So what's interesting is that he's the largest victim in terms of the World Liberty Financial freezing his accounts. He's also the largest holder of Trump, along with WLFI. And this is something that's not talked about. So yes, they reverse merged into a company, so now they're a U.S.-based company. A lot of companies are going to do this. We actually talked about Algorand coming back from Singapore back to the U.S. by coming in through another entity. We're going to see more of this because the next part of the playbook, honestly, Logan, is that I think President Trump is going to give 4 to 0% business tax on crypto companies if they're in the United States. I think that's the next move. That's going to be coming. Can you
say that one more time for me and for everyone?
Yes. The next move in the playbook, I believe, the reason why Tron is now a U.S. company, and we're seeing more and more of this move because President Trump wants the United States to be the center and leader of crypto in the world, right? We're going to see business taxes, corporate taxes, capital gains taxes either eliminated or held at a very Puerto Rico friendly 4% coming up very soon to help multiple groups, not just World Liberty Financial, right? But multiple other groups who are looking to come into the U.S., reshoring these companies that probably left for whatever reason. Coinbase just left Delaware to go to Texas. I think that was 8 months ago that they made that move. So we're going to see more of U.S. companies start to kind of rearrange and find ways to come back to the U.S. because I think he's going to give a gigantic tax break. Again, not financial advice. This is just me reading the tea leaves. I saw this immediately because what is that's the one thing that he wants to do is give advantages for people who want to build in America, right? Regardless of the industry. And for crypto companies, it makes perfect sense, in my opinion, to give them that tax break because that's tons of liquidity, that's tons of money that's going to be coming back in.
Finally, I mean, I thank you, President Trump. I have to say it because for so many years, just crypto has been hamstrung to the point where people have believed that it's not ready in the U.S. And I think we talked about this on the last time I was on, but in Japan, I lived off of crypto. I was able to walk to a 7-Eleven 2 minutes away from my apartment and have crypto turn into physical yen in like 15 minutes. That's how long it took me.
At the company?
And that's how it worked that way. That was back in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We could be running off of this. We could be living our lives with fast, sensible money that we own right now, but the powers that be have set up so many roadblocks and speed bumps that the population thinks it's clunky. They tricked every American into thinking crypto sucks. And that's what I experienced moving back here, and it's nice to see that those roadblocks and those speed bumps are finally being removed. I don't care if it's by a Democrat, a Republican, or a purple duck with a Pope hat on. I just want to see the industry thrive and not have get kneecapped trying to make society better. So great. I'm just going to clap. I'm just clapping.
He's just gonna clap. It's like I'm just gonna clap here, and hopefully, I'm hoping it leads to something. To me, that's the next. It doesn't make sense if he doesn't do it. In my personal
So there
opinion.
is something weird going on though with clarity, and
Yes,
I
let's talk
figured
about
that
that.
you would cover that. So because I am the Nebraska chapter president for Stand with Crypto, which that little sign right there. Uh, we are a 501c6 a nonprofit. Don't quote me on that last number. But we are doing political outreach and advocacy. And so I am privy to a couple insider things because we have some people inside the nonprofit who have their hands in the stuff in Washington. They are contributing and they come and share that with the group. And so actually yesterday we had a Stand with Crypto meeting, and I'll tell you all the stuff I'm allowed to tell you, and I wasn't even allowed to know everything because they don't know everything. This is apparently, and this is not my opinion, this is what I was told from Stand with Crypto, is that the Clarity Act and the changes being made are being held so closely to the chest that not even the insiders know what's going on right now. There's a big concern about stable coins and being able to claim staking rewards on them. And it's an issue because if they decide this the wrong way, it kills DeFi, which that's a big part of what crypto is the being able to remove the middleman of the banks and get the actual rewards for the money working, putting your own money to work rather than the banks putting your money to work for you, right? That's the whole benefit. Be your own bank, right?
Exactly.
But the problem is, it sounds like they're getting ready to hamstring the system where they're almost creating like a door for a CBDC, a central bank digital currency, where they're going to turn the dollar into a crypto, which I am a strong advocate against personally. I think that we should own our money. I don't think that the central bank or the US government should own the crypto that we use. I think that we all should own the crypto that we use, which is the underlying ethos of the entire technology to begin with. If you don't own your money, you don't own anything. And so I'm a little bit concerned about the lack of transparency on Clarity.
The lack of clarity on clarity. Interesting.
Yes, it is an opaque Clarity. So, that's the message that I'm getting from above, so to speak. And we are watching it very, very closely. There are people, you can actually go to the OCC right now. I could probably share a link, but you can go make your voice heard. If you actually care about this, there is a petition you can sign and say, you know what, keep your hands off of my stablecoin returns. I'll go ahead and drop it into the Twitter comments underneath this event.
Thank you so much for that. Well,
But
let me bring up what I have.
You can do something.
And let's do that. You should take action if you can advocate. You should. Well, let me share what I have so far.
Sweet.
So according to Eleanor Tourette and Coin Bureau, in fact, I think so. Right now, the actual bill is with Senator Tom Tillis. He's going to release the final draft this week, and it's the last piece needed before the committee can call a markup. They're going to need 60 votes to get it to pass, and if they can't get it done by the 25th, it's just not going to happen because you have midterms, you've got all this stuff. The other reason too why it's off the schedule for next week, and this is I don't say it's the concerning part, is that Fed Chair nominee Kevin Warsh's nomination hearing is next Tuesday. So this could be, the issue that causes the the markup to not be seen. Now, all it takes is one call from President Trump, and that probably just doesn't become an issue. But we'll see exactly where Tom Tillis has this stablecoin, let's call it yield compromise. Given the fact, and this is something we've talked about since the beginning, stablecoin yield for holding yield without staking is off the table for the banks. That's always been a non-starter. This will push through and kind of, and go against what Coinbase wants. With that said, Coinbase got their banking license from the OCC 2 Thursdays ago. So it kind of kills that point, makes it null and void. Not null and void, but it kind of just puts that to bed. The other part that's interesting is this was on Monday. The SEC, as part of their crypto task force, has provided its views on broker-dealer registration for DeFi protocols. This was the other part of the bill that we were really concerned about specifically, because it didn't have clear framework as to what would be allowed and what would not be allowed. Now, credit where credit is due to both Chairman Seelig from the CFTC and Chairman Atkins from the SEC. They are working together to put together as much clarity, without a clarity bill, as they can on this issue. They've already put out a whole bunch of things on what's a commodity, what's a security, and what's not. Most of DeFi is not under those rules. And then they've added this portion for broker-dealer registration, saying that the majority of, where is it? Oh, it's not here. It's in another thing that I can't find. Basically, most front ends, most wallets, all of that, they don't have to register as broker-dealers with the SEC. That's a big point, a big bullish point for DeFi. Because that was going to be the big thing, is that no country owns DeFi. So it's like having
and we're about to kill every startup.
Exactly.
Yes. So yeah, I'm glad that's out of the way. That's it. That was a big non-starter, and so that was the original thing I think that was kind of blocking it. But there's now a couple other little details. I know a few people painted Brian Armstrong in an ugly light, but I think he may actually be trying pretty hard. He spent a lot of time trying to push this thing through, so I don't think he wants to see it sink. And he may be wanting to set up better situation for him and Coinbase. That's natural, but at the end of the day, I think he will try to do what's best for the industry because it's also what's best for Coinbase, even if he's doing the right thing for the wrong reason.
Yeah, and Coinbase for the most part has officially endorsed the bill. By the way, that's the important part. But they got their OCC license, so they're clear to do whatever they want now, with regards to, because they can now issue stable coins. There's all this stuff that they can do. So
I think one of the dangers here is that these big players get kind of a lock on the industry, and that's, as a grassroots campaign, working with SWC, and just as someone who loves crypto, I don't want to see that happen. I believe that, again, us being able to create projects and own our own money and not have some corporate or government or central banking overlord telling us what we can spend our pennies on, that is fundamental. And as soon as we lose that, we have lost crypto, so to speak. I don't actually think we can lose crypto. They could try to just make all these rules, but we'll just go back to the old way, which is going around all of them.
Exactly. So with all of this in motion now, I guess my question to you, Logan, is now that the SEC and the CFTC have joint statements and they've practically gone up and down the gamut addressing all of these issues, is clarity dying in the next 2 weeks going to be that big of an issue?
Sweet 8-pound 3-ounce baby Jesus
with the gold diapers.
Don't let me die. I don't think so. I don't think this is going to be torpedoed. If it did, it would be a great loss, but it would just be. It's just time. There'll be another bill that is cleverly named, and we'll get it through. I know the Republicans are really, really pushing hard, and the constituents too. The absolute number of people in a not bipartisan, across both aisles that are adopting crypto is becoming a voting bloc that needs to be catered to, and so eventually, like it or not, the Democrats that have been pushing against this, they're going to sing our song and they're going to do our dance because they're going to want our votes.
And to be fair, it's a specific portion of the Democratic Party because there are multiple members of both sides of the party.
Let me not shoot down the entire left wing on that one.
Yeah, because there are multiple Democrats who are part of the blockchain caucus on Capitol Hill.
Yep.
People like Ro Khanna and multiple other groups multiple other states that have pro crypto legislators representing them on the Hill. So
yes, there are. So yeah, thank you for tempering my sweeping generalization.
Well, I mean, and there are right wing people who are against crypto. I mean, there are Republicans that don't care for crypto either. Now, most of them are lined with banking lobby money. So, seeing people like seeing Senator Thune, Senator Tillis, and people like Tim Scott kind of drag their feet on this. It's let's be honest. The deal's been done since the day that Coinbase got the banking license 2 Thursdays ago. I have an article somewhere. The deal is done. I don't know why they're dragging their feet to get this to markup. It's really at this point just a logistics and semantics piece. It'll get done. I know I'm on record saying I don't think it's going to get done, but now I think after all of this, it'll get done. They're just trying to play it up in the right way, which is stupid.
I did promise you no existential threats against blockchain while I was on this video, but it's the least of my concerns, and then I won't talk about it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I do have an article on quantum, so we can talk about it.
Ooh, the sky's falling.
Yes, the sky is falling. So let's segue into that real quick.
Sure.
While I have that, while the iron is hot. So we had you on a couple weeks ago, and you had some you had some strong opinions on.
I did
on quantum, and
since
because
then I got a tattoo on my chest that says Bitcoin is going to die.
Really?
Because I'm a tempered man. I'm joking.
How fun!
I know tattoos. I just it's not my thing. I like tattoos, but anyhow, I did say something along those lines. It's the first time in my life I've ever said anything like that. I've been like I said, a blockchain fanboy. Say that 3 times fast. For over a decade now. I believe in the technology. I believe it's something bigger than money. So for me to say something like that requires an incredible amount of evidence. And one of the issues that we've been facing in this industry is that the evidence is theoretical.
Yeah.
And so I've talked to a lot of people and they're like, well, what do you mean quantum computer? And you start talking about it and it sounds like you've got a tinfoil hat on and you're like, well, it's the coldest place in the universe. And there's 2 particles that are like in the same place at the same time. And they're both rotating and it creates a 1 and a 0 and a 1 and a 0. Instead of binary, you've got like both on, both off. And you start talking about it and it's like, oh, I bet this guy has a bunch of sticky notes on his wall with red lines between them.
You kind of resemble him, not gonna lie.
I do, actually, behind this wall right here. I have that.
You got the picture of Charlie? It's funny.
Oh, yes, I am that guy. And so he is my meme. That guy's my power animal. But if you look at what's happening in the world, and we take a step back, forget that whatever industry I'm in, forget I'm in crypto. Just look at what's happening industry-wide.
Yeah.
Is Google preparing for quantum computers? Yes.
They have
Facebook,
one.
Apple, Netflix preparing for it? Yes. They're moving over to dilithium. And what I mean by dilithium is it's a new type of security signature protocol. The old system used to use like a I can draw you a picture of it.
Well, you can just say elliptic curve
ECC, yeah,
cryptography.
elliptical curve cryptography. It
Yep.
looks kind of like that at the end of the day.
Yep.
It's just a curve on a graph with a couple dots on it, and that creates a key. That's what a key looks like for Bitcoin or Ethereum. This is what an actual key looks like.
Hold on. Let me. We need content. Say that again.
Yes,
Hold that
wonderful.
back up.
Yes, this is what a key looks like.
With ECC, with elliptical curve cryptography.
Yes. So basically, it's just a curve on a graph, and we pick a few points on that graph, and those points on the graph are like the teeth of the key. And
Looks like a
what
mushroom.
quantum computers can do is they can find the frequency. I know that sounds a little weird, but they use this harmonics math, and they're able to crack that curve. They don't need to guess each point anymore. That's what the old computers would have had to do to hack this thing. They need to guess the curve and all the points. It's you can brute force it, but it'll take you 10,000 years. That's why
Yep.
crypto was so beautiful. But now we have this thing that it does math in a different way. It's not just comparing numbers. It's not just adding and subtracting. It's looking at patterns. And that's how quantum computers work. It's a completely different beast.
At
And
frightful
so,
amounts of speed and parallel computing power.
correct. And so it's as soon as it'll take all the public keys and it's going to turn them into private keys. It will be able to backwards hack all of that. So that even if your keys and your crypto are safe, other people's keys in crypto are not. And so when those people lose, their security, the entire system fails, and suddenly the safe keys in crypto that you have aren't worth anything because they're built on a system made of origami paper security. And so what you're seeing right now is all of the banks are upgrading. They're actually safe. So if you're worried, like, oh, what about my dollars, Logan? You're fine. The banks are already prepared for this. They're ready.
Oh, they've
There
had
are
they've had these briefs
to be
years
concerned
ago.
about that I don't want to talk about too much, huh?
They had the briefs years ago.
Yes, yeah, this is not news. I've been learning about quantum computers since I was in high school. It was fascinating to me because in order to make a quantum computer, you have to make it very, very cold. And so the coldest place in the universe that we know about is quantum computers. Like Boulder, Colorado has one of the coldest places in the universe because they're running a quantum computer there. And I was living in Boulder, Colorado, and I found out that it contained the coldest place in the universe. And how could you not be curious how that exists? And so I started learning about quantum computers in high school. I am a middle-aged gentleman. Like, I'm not a spring chicken here. Like, quantum computers have been around, and yes, the promise it's coming in 10 years, it's coming in 10 years. But it eventually shows up. And when it shows up, it's quick. That's how adoption curves work. It's slow to start, and then boom, suddenly everyone has a smartphone. You hear the news, you hear the news, you hear the news, you see a couple devices, a few stories, and then boom, Johnny and his pet dog have a quantum computer and they're folding proteins in their garage, and hacking your Bitcoin.
Could you imagine
And
if we used quantum technology to fold, like SETI at home, to help cure cancer using? I'm sure it's on the list. I'm sure there's something people are. It has to be a use case, right?
I love biotech.
Yeah,
And
same
so
here.
I can already tell you that people are using CRISPR, which is gene editing technology. They are using it at home and making their own peptides and all this fun stuff and injecting them in themselves with experimental things. I know someone in the crypto industry who's also involved in biotech and injected himself with HTERT because he was having a fatal heart problem, and he miraculously recovered.
Wow, we're well past Blood Boys.
We are living in a science fiction novel. It's sci-non-fi.
Sci-non-fi.
For
All
real.
right. Well, let me kind of rein it back in. So,
Yeah, like reality's out there somewhere.
So last week we talked about this specific article from Avihu Levy about there's a specific population of Bitcoin. I think it's 6.9 million of them, correct? That are currently under the microscope. Now, if they've already had their private keys released, there's no hope for them. Those are gone. Those are gonna get busted. However, the issue here is that if for the ones that are still affected, is there another way they can go about with their metadata? And so far, they're looking at this is something that's very interesting, is taking that key data and now introducing a hash in front of it. Granted, it's going to take action to do it, so there's no guarantee it'll be done. But the idea of being able to do it without soft forks by just introducing a hash model through another BIP, I think would be very interesting if they were able to make this work. And then we talked about that last week. So this week, right now, they have the idea with another BIP to now just freeze addresses that have quantum vulnerable Bitcoin.
Oh no!
I knew you're gonna have to. I knew you're gonna have thoughts about this.
I think that it is, and that's also Vitalik's answer. His emergency answer for Q Day is freeze Ethereum, and that's a kill switch. But there's no on switch after that. Once you demonstrate that you can kill the system with the push of a red button, the entire stability of the system comes into question, and I am going to leave. I am going to pull my money out the moment you can demonstrate you can freeze it.
Well,
I'm sorry, that just completely negates crypto.
I mean, I could bring up the I could bring up the alert key that used to exist, but we can talk about that on another day.
That's going to be another
yeah. I mean, because there was a time where there was a kill switch on Bitcoin L1, that's been taken away through a different BIP, but
right, probably due to the same things I'm talking about
exactly.
Right now.
You don't want a kill switch in a decentralized system. You don't. You just can't have it because that takes away from the ethos. But if there's significant issues that need you to have a hard fork or a change in code that you cannot roll back because it's for the good of the health of the system long term, you can make cases for that, right?
Okay.
Will anything ever be truly decentralized, right?
Audience. I got to throw it out to the audience. If you are watching, if you are among our audience and you have opinions on this,
comment.
It is kind of polarizing now that I think about it. I'm curious what you all think. What is there a solution that in your mind for this, that where we don't have to invent a new quantum Bitcoin? The trouble with that would be that everyone would have to migrate. It would be a giant, parting of the seas effort to get people to safety. And so it would be ideal if we could just upgrade, and people in their sleep who aren't paying attention would be just fine. They will wake up one day and not be wrecked. Is there a way to do that? Do you think there is, and what is it? And is this even a real threat? Am I full of it? I'm curious to hear what you think. And so if I may, Chris, just bounce that one out to the audience. Drop us a tweet if you have any feelings at all. If you have a heart or a soul or brain, I want to hear from you on this. There we go. Quantis. Okay, good.
Well, let's talk about. I mean, we're gonna have to have someone from Boy Wonder here. Shout out to Jangle. I thought you'd be asleep right now, sir, so that's why I have not asked you to come on and talk about this. But I'm gonna have you come on and talk about this sometime in the next month or so, especially before Q Day. But yeah, there are multiple groups who have ways to fix this. I'm of the ilk that I don't think that a migration needs to happen. And this may not be the best take, I'll be honest, but in the event that, you have 6.9 million Bitcoin leave the supply, it's not the worst thing for Bitcoin holders.
Did you just say deflationary?
So, I mean,
Did you just say burn?
well, the word. So
Because now I'm not
we're looking at freezing these these addresses, right?
I mean, is that not the same thing? Okay, so think about all the Bitcoin that has been inactive, all of the wallets where
Yes,
the Bitcoin isn't moving, not because someone isn't moving it, but because they've actually lost access. Those are dead coins. And if we actually calculated the value of Bitcoin minus all the dead coins, minus Satoshi's wallet, what's the remainder worth? My goodness, I'm the zero. Um, oh God. So if it could be a heyday.
it could be, right? I mean, I'm just saying if these coins are going to get wrecked anyway. Now, not all of them. There's quite a bit of those that haven't had their private keys put out, so they could do the hash thing. There's quite a few things that could happen. By the way, I'll have a link in the comments for this specifically. There is a GitHub repo specifically for this PQ migration and how it kind of lays out. It would be a soft fork if it were to happen, but feel free to check it out. It's a good thing that they're talking about this. Obviously, it's coming at great timing with 10 days to Bitcoin Vegas. So I'm going to be very interested to see specifically how this looks, or at least how the sentiment is. Because frankly, I'll be honest, most people are going to meet on the floor won't know that this is even a thing. Let's be very honest. I am, I'm actually quite sad because I have a couple of Bitcoin orange hats that I was going to wear this year, but that's okay. Maybe I'll give them to you before you go, Logan, so
I would
you can have them.
gladly wear one and tell people where I got it.
uh, but essentially, we're seeing some action here. I think so. Last year was such a trip because I'd never seen so many brick and mortar banks offshore at a conference trying to give regular Bitcoin holders $1 million loans against their Bitcoin. Right. I think the floor is going to look a little bit different this year. I'm sure we'll see more suits, right? Because last year we saw suits of all ages and stages. Steak and Shake had a gigantic booth in the center of the floor. I don't think we see that this year, but we'll see exactly how the floor is going to look and how many people will be there. Really just trying to make money and extract from people who like Bitcoin. This is going to be a big conversation, moving forward. I have a couple, now that I think about it, I have a couple other people you can talk to, Logan, specifically about.
You plug me in with anyone, and if you are listening, feel free to reach out. I'm Crypto Logan with zeros instead of O's.
Exactly. So, but anyway, I just kind of wanted to bring this to your attention and kind of get your thoughts about the idea of potentially freezing these addresses. And to your point, most of this Bitcoin's probably dead coin anyway. So
I'd be all for that, actually. Despite my earlier statements about, I'm leaving if you hit the red button. The idea of essentially burning a bunch of dead Bitcoins is juicy, and I say that as a non-Bitcoin. I don't hold any Bitcoin, so I don't actually have a dog in the fight. But man, for everyone who does, I'd love to see your bags go up.
I mean, and that to me, that was the take that I had. I was like, yes, it would be very controversial to do it, but at the same time, if it's going to get hacked anyway, because of inaction by a specific date,
something has to be done.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I wouldn't hate the idea. I mean, it obviously, anyone who owns Bitcoin would love the idea, but at the same time, is it something that would be
feasible?
Yeah.
Is it realistic? It would scare everyone off.
Exactly.
That's another question.
That is another.
I know there's
another
another hashing that hashing solution. We did talk about it a little bit, but it's kind of computationally very, very heavy. So I don't think that it's like when the first resistor was made, or they were clunky objects in electronics that couldn't go into machines until they were made micro. And it takes time to turn big components into micro components so that you can actually use them in a machine. And some of these changes to the cryptography in Bitcoin may be sort of similar, where it's like, oh, brilliant idea. You're going to need 5 years to whittle it down and have the devs actually make it usable so it can fit inside the Bitcoin machine without, costing an arm and a leg and an hour to do a transaction.
Yeah.
And so that is my concern, is that it's going to be too little too late on some of these solutions. Though I think there are, I don't think we have to go over to dilithium matrix security for signatures necessarily. There's other options. But again, I think the main message that it'll get through, and this is what I'm expecting to see in Vegas, is that after a year, if you'd gone a year earlier, no one would talk about quantum, or it would be something laughable. I think this year it's going to be something that everyone's willing to talk to me about, and most people are going to be willing to entertain. If anything, the anti no, we shouldn't do anything voices will have evolved into, I think it's a conspiracy theory, or quantum computers aren't real, but it will have evolved beyond I don't know.
I kind of want my birthday cake this year to be a chandelier quantum computer, because it does look like a cake.
They are gorgeous. It's like an upside down golden wedding cake.
That's what I think. I mean, I would love. You know what? For my 50th birthday, I think I'm going to ask for that. I want an upside down cake that resembles a quantum chandelier. So that would be amazing. Shout out again to Jangle for the correct path. Every existing Bitcoin will need to migrate to a new quantum secure address. That is correct. And we'll see exactly. Yeah, probably. Right. Well, we'll see exactly how this kind of plays out, because, I mean, they gave the countdown, right? What, 2029? I mean, I think that's a very generous countdown. I think we see a solution to this way sooner than 2029.
That's a countdown to avoid panic.
Yeah, absolutely. But
which we should do.
We should do.
Do not panic, because that's usually when people make bad decisions.
Yep.
But yeah, probably what we're going to see, and I didn't catch the name on that tweet, but we're probably going to see some kind of migration. One possibility is that every single project that you can think of in crypto, someone's going to make a quantum safe version of it. Actually, huge opportunity out there for any builders. You could make quantum Uniswap, the quantum unicorn. We're going to need one of those. We're going to need quantum pancake swap. We're going to need quantum Aave. We're going to need quantum versions of all of it. So actually, it's a golden opportunity for builders who want to. You don't even need to be creative anymore. You just take what's already working and you quantum secure it. And if you get ahead of all the other projects, you may be opening up shop in a blue sea, we say, where none of the opportunities have been seized yet because people still don't believe the sea exists. And so, there's going to be a new Bitcoin. There's going to be a new Ethereum. It's possible that it won't be related to the old. Someone might just take the code and add the security, and boom, we're running again. But it's going to be like buying a completely different token. It'll be just like in 2015 when this kid named Vitalik Buterin stopped playing World of Warcraft and he said, I'm making a token. It's going to be kind of like Bitcoin with contracts on it. Same thing. Honestly, this is a crazy opportunity. It comes with a crazy bottleneck evolutionary event too, where maybe a lot of projects are going to disappear. That's a little darker than 2015 to 2020, but in a weird way, it's a good thing. This is how industries grow. We get a bunch of projects, way more than we need, and then there's going to be an event, a bottleneck, and we got to squeeze all those projects through a tiny little hole, and the ones that come out, man, those are gold. We're squeezing it into a diamond. You want to talk about diamond hands? It's going to be those projects that get through this quantum evolutionary bottleneck and are able to jump over this hurdle. There'll be losers. There'll be winners. This is just like early crypto. And if you go look at the quantum safe projects, you can count them. you can know the
On two
name of
hands.
every single quantum project. It's just like early crypto. Yes, it's all scary and doom and gloom and the sky's falling, but if you've got your umbrella ready, man, what an opportunity.
All I can think
Absolutely.
of is like literally the all that's coming to my mind right now is like the Intel Inside logo. You're gonna see all these little logos saying "Quantum Ready" or something like that, right?
Yes. And it's going to be a point of trust. It'll take a minute for the industry to turn, but you can
Yeah.
already see the sea change of opinions going. So you get ahead of those opinions. Where's it going? Where's the shift heading? Look at the big Web 2's already ready. Is Web 3 ready?
I
No.
mean, I'm gonna open my Etsy shop tomorrow specifically for quantum ready products. So yes, it's on the way. Again, thank you to Logan from Stand with Crypto Nebraska chapter president for joining us today. I have one thing we're going to talk about here for a couple of minutes, then we're going to head home. Um, so it's really just again a shout out to Bull Theory, the idea that they're going to amend the Genius Act, possibly after.
Oh,
No idea when this even becomes a thing because right now, after what's going on here, it's going to slide to the midterms, and that's going to be the big focus for the rest of the summer, going into to the fall. But the idea that there's going to be takes on this, there's going to be takes on this to make stablecoin transactions completely tax free if it's a Genius compliant stablecoin and uh, the taxpayer's basis in such stablecoin is less than 99% of the redemption value of such stablecoin. So as long as the coin holds its peg and you're within that 1% mark where it has to be at $1.
interesting. This I don't like this. This sounds like we're in a chess game and they're making some funny move and we can't quite tell why they made it.
Yeah.
That's a bad sign. We need to know why they're making these moves. I will go talk to Stand with Crypto about this. I was unaware of these current upgrades or amendments, so to speak. But yeah, that's troubling. We need to be very, very sure, like I said earlier in the episode, no central bank digital currency. Guys, that is evil. It's anti-crypto. It's antithetical to everything we've been building. Do not let them shove the CBDC down your throat. We do not need a crypto dollar.
I want
If
to
they're
say
going to do
that's
it,
actually in the Genius Act that it outlaws a CBDC, unless it's
oh,
actually in
good.
it's in the Clarity Act, one of the two.
I knew it was being pushed. Loomis
Mm-hmm.
was pushing on it. There were a few Republicans going really hard on. Ted Cruz even I think was really anti-CBDC if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
there's multiple states. I think Florida definitely has done it. I think Texas might have also done it, where they're outlawing ever using a CBDC. Um, President
Good.
Trump
I'm
will
glad the
never
states
President
are
Trump will
getting
never allow a CBDC.
that. I'm so happy. Like, good job, crypto. All of you out there, if you ever said anything anti-CBDC, someone somewhere heard you, and the state government is acting appropriately. We did it. Actually, and it's weird. Sometimes those victories, we don't get to actually cheer for them because they're silent. When things go well, there's no bump in the road, there's no noise, we don't even notice it. And this is one of those cases where maybe actually we dodged a bullet like Neo from the darn Matrix. Like if we don't get a CBDC, we did it right.
We did it right.
Thank
We're
goodness.
not doing what China's doing. That's for sure.
No, like we do not need a dystopian cryptocurrency.
Well, if you agree with that, check out standwithcrypto.org. SWC. There are groups in every state now, and join the 3.6 million people who are standing shoulder to shoulder to stand with crypto here in the United States. Logan, please give your elevator pitch here, sir.
Yes, absolutely. So we are a grassroots movement. Again, I mentioned we are a 501c6 or 3, one of
I
those
think it's 3.
nonprofit organizations. There's a tiny little law where we can't take money from organizations, and it matters. We are independent. We are a grassroots movement. Our number one job is to grow the number of names on the list. It's really a number go up effort. And so all you have to do is sign up. You can block the emails. I don't care. Really, the main goal is to get the number to be big so that the politicians go, woo, and they start pandering to us. If they're going to pander, we should get some of the pandering. That's my argument. And so please, and why is my event not on there? We have an event coming up in Omaha on May 22nd, Pizza Dow. We're going to have a bunch of free pizza. If you're in Omaha, Nebraska, or if you're in the Council Bluffs, Iowa, why don't you come on over? Though I think they're having their own event in Iowa too. That being said,
we will both be there.
Yes, Chris is the official captain of Omaha. So if you'd like to get more involved with SWC, he can open the doors for you. We can put a hat on you. And we want to make your voice loud. So if you're curious...
Can we mention the venue? The venue is confirmed, correct?
Yes, we just confirmed it yesterday. Is Fredericksburg Pizza.
It's Williamsburg Pizza.
Williamsburg.
It's the 168th and Audrey address. So it's southwest.
Thank you, Williamsburg. I'm like thinking of like
far southwest Omaha. Halfway to Gretna
just
if you're
Harrison.
In this area. Off of Harrison, 168th and Harrison. It's
Free
part of the
pizza,
Williamsburg pizza chain.
Yeah, how much can you eat?
A lot.
That's just a question for the audience. That said, we are a grassroots movement. We're trying to get names on the list so that we can swing around the list of names. Like, politicians are not always the most complex creatures on the planet. They will respond if you say, we've got a voting block of 1 million people. They will do the song and dance we want them to do. And if we're going to have a government that does these songs and dances, again, we should be able to get ours. Crypto deserves it. We've been working really hard. We've been absolutely stepped on by the government. And so groups like Stand With Crypto have been formed in order to stop it. And so the Clarity Act, the Genius Act, we've had our hands in that. And so if you want to see better things, get your hand in it too. I'm happy to listen to you. I'm happy to take your ideas all the way up as far as I can go. I will
and
fight
he will
for
do
you.
it.
I'll speak for you, or I'll make it so you can speak and fight for yourself. That is my goal, not just as a Stand With Crypto Nebraska chapter president, but as a person in crypto and as a human being. I like empowering people. It's why I got this role in the first place, and I'd like to empower anyone who's listening. So feel free to reach out to myself or to Chris, and we will make sure that you get plugged in. If we make this event big enough, we get to have congressmen and women come visit us. I'm going to reach out to Berkshire Hathaway. I've got Nebraska Gooner on the hook. So there's a lot of famous
you got
folks
Gooner on,
huh? Not promised. I'm just talking. But I'm reaching out, so I'm trying to get people in Nebraska plugged in. I want to build a Silicon Prairie here, and not just here, but in the U.S. We should own this tech. The U.S. I want the U.S. to be number one. I like being number one. It's fun. It feels good, and I love tech. And so if we're behind, I'm watching us fall behind in robotics and precious metal processing and chip production, and I'm concerned that we're also going to lose the crypto race to China and other countries who are more open-minded and willing to embrace this new technology that really serves people and serves the American ideal to begin with. This is about freedom to a degree. It's about what the darn country stands for. It's why I got this flag behind me. I believe in having a great country that believes in us. And so, yeah, let's Stand With Crypto. Please join. Come say hi at the pizza party. Follow Chris if you know what you're doing and you haven't already. And, of course, follow me. I'll plug myself. Why not? And thanks for having me on, Chris.
Of course. Thank you, brother, for being here.
I need to adjust my lighting. I'm going to try to get my background going so I can come on and not look like a total schmo.
Oh, I think it looks great. I think you just need a fill, like a reflector off the window for this side of your face. That's good. That part's fine. That part's fine.
You saw me bring this in right before the talk. But I got a green screen. It's in the other room. I was doing music videos.
Well, the hard part is like when you have a green screen, you have to also evenly light it so that it shows up well. So
Right?
that's
Otherwise,
part
you're
of the issue.
this pixelated
Exactly.
floating.
So
We'll
yeah,
get there.
follow Logan. We'll have all of his info out there. Stand with crypto, please. Would love for you to do that. I'm working with Logan. We're going to be doing more legislative things, I think, in the future to help really just help shape blockchain technology here in the central heartland area here on the Silicon Prairie, as we like to call it. We're going to build lots of crypto foundational buildings on top of what's already been built here. So excited to do that here locally. Again, and thanks for being here. Follow him, and if you enjoyed it, please like, follow, subscribe. We're definitely on our way to some milestones here at the mothership, which is Beacon DeFi. Oh, and he's got the cup.
This is the best mug.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Beacon
solid as a rock.
Exactly. And if you want to learn more, check out our free group, totalvaluelockschool.com/beacon. Check it out. We have tons of free content. Follow the many who have come on and learn more about on-chain finance, about decentralized finance, which is DeFi, and more about blockchain technology. We've been doing this show every Wednesday since December 2021. And then we also, if you like this, check us out on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We have our Beat the Banks podcast. We've been doing that since January 2022. And our goal is to make DeFi accessible, educate those, and make sure everybody has access to knowing about this digital asset future that's already been being created ahead of you with people who have been here in the space, also with institutions who are now integrating all of the DeFi rails into what's traditional finance to just become finance. It's going to be what it is. So future of finance, future of how we do business. And we're here to help with that as much as possible. Okay, that's all we have for today. Yes, sir.
People in the space that I've ever met, and I've been in the space for a long time.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
You are one of the most knowledgeable people in this space.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
I say that just as a fact.
Well, I thank you for that. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We'll be here. We'll be here Friday. I'll probably be streaming personally later on with my After the Show podcast, where we'll talk more about the news and just have some fun. But until then, we'll see you next week. Got a banger panel already on. I think we're going to have the Hydrex team from Base Blockchain on panel next week. So look out for that. We'll have a tweet talking about that.
Make sure you tweet that out. Let me know beforehand. I'd like to.
I will.
Tune in.
Absolutely will.
Cool.
Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next week, as we say here on the show. Beacons up. Banks down.
Up.
Take care, everybody.